Hi everybody, this is Jim Aikin, and in this brief series of videos I'm going to give you a quick overview of the PS-20 synthesizer from Cherry Audio. Let's start with a quick overview of the front panel. As you can see, on the left side there are knobs, and on the right side there are jacks with which we can do a little extra patching if we want to, just by grabbing an invisible cord and connecting an output to an input, or vice versa. Now, if you compare this to the original MS-20 from Korg, I found this nice ad in the November 1978 issue of Keyboard Magazine, leafing through my archive. And you can see that the layout is very similar to what we have in the PS-20, but much simpler in the MS-20. What we have in the PS-20 is a lot more knobs and a lot more patch points, plus some extra features. We have down at the bottom 3 effects: distortion, a delay that can also be used for chorus type modulation, and a nice sounding reverb. We have an 8-step sequencer. We have some voicing options. Now, one of the nice things about this layout is that everything is visible. There are no invisible drop-down menus or anything. What you see is exactly what you get. The only thing that approaches invisibility is this button right here. It says Cell or Select on it, and it lets you choose any of the 3 rows for the sequencer. And each of the sequencer rows has its own CV output jack. So here you do have to click on something to see what's going on in another row. But other than that, it's one visible graphic element, is one function. Now, the patching is maybe less than obvious at first because the layout is not very intuitive, but what happens is that all of the signal paths are what are called normaled, which means that you don't have to use any of this stuff. If you don't use it, then you can just use the knobs and you'll get the default signal routings for a complete patch. What these patch points do is they interrupt or override the default patching in various ways. And I'm not going to go into the details of how that works. It's just enough for you to know that that's how it works. There are some extra features here. There's a zoom button here if we want to see it really big. Or let's go back to, how about really small? Yes, you can see this is Reason in the background. And now we're back to 100% zoom. On the left, you can see we have 2 oscillators and a mixer with which we can add either or both of them into the signal, and also an amount of the noise generator. And then there are 2 filters which can run either in series, in parallel, or in split mode. And in split mode, the first oscillator goes through the high-pass filter, the second oscillator goes through the low-pass filter. We have 2 envelope generators which are a little different from one another. And we have some modulation controls down here. There are also some possibilities. You can send an external audio signal into this, assuming you're using it as a plug-in. I don't really know if you can do that when it's standalone, but I would normally use this as a plug-in in a digital audio workstation. You can extract the envelope from the external signal here, or you can actually process the external signal through the effects over here, or you can use it as a modulation source by patching it into, let's say, one of the oscillators as an FM signal source. So there are really quite a lot of options.